absolute gremlins have gotten into my phone. I have no idea what ended up happening there. So hopefully more of us will be able to jump on, be able to join the conversation while we build back up the number of people that are ended up coming on. Bob Ferguson, have you no shame? Bob Ferguson, Attorney General, you are willing to do that much to stop my free speech rights. You're willing to go to that level. A lawsuit that lasts 7 years, not good enough. Seeking a lifetime ban on all future political activity, not good enough. You have to interrupt a Facebook Live post. Patty is back from there. Good, I thought it was my phone. Jason, it was not. It was apparently Bob Ferguson has nothing better to do with his time than to show up in order to be able to interrupt my Facebook Live. So more and more people are getting on. Sherry Lynn from Port Orchard, I love you. Thank you for weighing in. I am now asking people to donate. Please go, and if you like the fact that I confronted Kshama Sawant, please donate. Tim for Gov. Tim, the number 4, gov.com/donate. This is absolutely what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to raise money for my race for governor. The money is going to be spent on direct mail and social media and radio and TV and every single which way that I can so that yes, am I being censored, Mike asked me. But all the money that I'm raising absolutely is going to go toward my run for governor in this primary. You're not going to see ads criticizing the other candidates. The other candidates are clawing each other's eyes out. That's what they do. A lot of them are leaking information on one another in order to be able to undermine each other's campaign. I simply don't have enough time to play those kind of games. I am absolutely focused instead on highlighting Jay Inslee, why he's bad, why we need to get rid of him, why I would be the best candidate. And I think I can do that by promoting what I stand for and not necessarily taking shots at the other guys that are out there. I've got this dinosaur skin that I built up over 22 years. And so what we were talking about earlier was all the people that were in these zones, in the lawless zone, were chanting, leave, leave, leave. Do you really think Jay Inslee, he wasn't even willing to go down there? Do you think he would have stayed there if they started chanting, if they ended up starting to challenge him? I think we need to have somebody as our candidate that actually knows how to fight back effectively, has the dinosaur skin that it's going to end up taking, that to be able to take all the crap that they're going to end up throwing out. Derek asked the question, liberals say my body, my choice. Turn around and say wear a mask. You don't get a choice. Democrats are a special kind of hypocrite. What an excellent argument. Derek makes a really interesting point. I've been struck by how many people are rebelling against the mask because, frankly, a lot of people were wearing them before there was this mandate. And it literally doesn't make a lot of sense that there's no requirements on the kind of mask. I mean, some people I see are just using like their shirt sleeve. They're doing this Dracula thing. It's so bizarre, and I've heard the metaphor about, the fibers of the mask are wide enough apart where it's almost like a mosquito going through a barbed wire, a chain link fence. It is absolutely ineffective, and it's just virtue signaling. But I think it's even more insidious than that. I think what Jay Inslee wants is all of us going after each other. He wants infighting. That's why there's this snitch list that he created. It's why he wants to impose $10,000 fines on businesses to make them into our de facto law enforcement, because he wants to do everything he can to get everybody angry with one another and pissed at one another and furious with one another, because everyone's going to forget that he's the one that put us all in a bag with one another, shook it up, and had us basically tear each other apart. And I think that one of the reasons why I think I'm going to be a very good candidate running against Jay Inslee, if you give me that honor in August, is that I'm not going to be distracted by that. I'm not going to be distracted by that. I'm going to highlight the fact that Kshama Sawant is running the Democratic Party, but that's meant to intend to show that Jay Inslee is just following in her footsteps. So I think that that's a very, very important point. Lisa Gregory says, not sure. I was booted and then Facebook wouldn't let me open the feed again. It just died. Right in the middle of the thing, it just died. I've got perfectly good Wi-Fi in here, but they ended up just shutting it down. So we just started it back up again. So Lisa, thank you for coming back. Will you get rid of the mass? Alex asked the question. Is that we live under the Eyman governorship. We will live in a free state. The state will be open. All businesses will be essential. Everybody will be able to engage in commerce. I'm going to make sure that people get their unemployment payments. The unemployment payments that were their due. I'm going to make sure that unlike Jay Inslee sends $1 billion to Nigeria. When you send $1 billion to Nigeria, but you don't send the unemployment payments to the single moms and the small families and everything, it looks like an inside job. It seems like an inside job. Susie, whatever her name is, Miss Obama bundler, fundraiser, seems to be qualified to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to help Jay Inslee advance in the bureaucracy because being a big, wealthy bundler for Obama means that Jay Inslee can't actually hold her accountable, can't fire her, because guess what? If he did that, he would have one less person that's going to be able to help him get money to be able to advance up the ladder. I'm fairly certain now that I've asked the question. I've asked almost every live feed now. I might get it answered. Benjamin, I'm not sure what you're aiming for. Alicia Inslee moved inside when people were disagreeing with him. Alicia, exactly. Recently, I think it was last week, you had Jay Inslee going to the Tri-Cities. He goes to the Tri-Cities and he's outside, and there's the official people up front, but regular citizens showed up, and they heckled him. And it wasn't that biting. It really wasn't that outrageous. They were just saying, open up Washington, Jay, stupid mass. And he, like just an absolute wimp, goes, oh, we're going to go inside. And then he went inside, and once he was inside, he goes, well, nobody elected those people out there. Nobody elected those people out there. They're the employer, Inslee. They're the people who hired you. You would think you would treat your employees a little bit better, your employer a little bit better than that. But Jay Inslee, so much disrespect for voters. It is so madly. This is live, shut down for a short period, back up. Thank you, Patty. No sense. That is Inslee in a nutshell. Everyone should be asking this question. I don't know what your deal is. Hey, Tim, you responded to my thread this morning that you weren't a legislator, but an activist. Can you explain how an activist passes legislation? I'm seriously curious and need educating on that. How does an activist pass legislation? It's a great question. We have done 17 statewide campaigns qualifying initiatives for the statewide ballot. Plenty of local initiatives on top of that. I'm not even counting those. One of my proudest ones that I was the spokesman and one of the leaders in was shrinking the size of the King County Council from 13 members down to 9. 13 members down to 9. This was fantastic. Getting rid of 4 politicians on the King County Council was one of my proudest achievements, working with the King County Corrections Guild to be able to accomplish that. But how does a citizen do that? By getting fellow citizens to agree. By drafting legislation, sponsoring an idea, putting it on the ballot, making sure that hundreds of thousands of people agree with it first. Let's just say it's hard. It's really hard. It's astronomically hard. Guess what happens when something's really hard, but you succeed anyway? What ends up happening? You shows your perseverance, your persistence, your ability to overcome a broken system and score conservative victory after conservative victory in a state like Washington. Do we really believe Washington is that liberal? The only reason we think that is because of the people we elect. The ideas, however, The voters have voted for many, many, many of the initiatives that I've done over the years. And what happens is they like it. Having freedom, having limits on government's power. This idea of stopping facial recognition tracking at the airport is blowing away all sorts of ideas across the board. People are so impressed with my effort to try and stop that. And that is how a citizen does it. I'm a candidate running for office, and I'm doing more as a candidate than I think Jay Inslee is doing as governor. As a candidate, as a private citizen, we are accomplishing more together by me attacking a hill, like, for example, yesterday when it comes to the head tax, when it comes to the attacks on the Second Amendment in Edmonds and Bellingham, when it comes to them saying we're going to shut down the schools and we're going to keep them closed until January. Yet I build a coalition of people, fantastic people, do a lawsuit, and we end up getting the schools to open this fall instead. That's how a citizen makes a difference. If I can do this much as a candidate, just imagine how much we can rip the roof off of Olympia if I'm elected governor. So with all that being said, fishnet up. Fishnet. It is true. It's gotten to the point where pretty much anything you put on your face and you're pretty much letting everybody off the hook that, oh, okay, you're in compliance. You're okay. We won't attack you. Seth Peterson just gave $50. Seth, thank you very much. Everybody who donates, I'm going to cheer, and I'm going to cheer loud. I'm asking everybody that's listening in, if you like the fact that I went down to downtown Seattle in the middle of the afternoon in order to fight against that thing, give me some likes, give me some loves, but go to our website, timforgov.com, Tim, the number 4, gov.com, and donate. Donate to this effort because it's going to help me actually get my message out on why you should vote for me in the August primary. We're going to go down here to Lidmullah. Washington State Constitution, Article 1, Section 2 and 7. I shall not consent. Highlighting our basic constitutional rights. I am so glad that you highlighted that. One of my greatest frustrations is you need to vote for Tim Eyman so that you will have your constitutional rights protected. These are guaranteed rights. You shouldn't have to vote for somebody to get them. But unfortunately, with Jay Inslee as our governor, it actually matters who you vote for on whether or not you get basic rights or not. Water here. People harangue me sometimes because I don't drink water enough. So I think it's an important point. Our constitutional rights, I'm absolutely committed to making sure that we protect those rights. Too often we seem to have too many elected officials that say that those things are optional. That really the Constitution is whatever we think it is. And I think that we need to have at least one branch of government, the executive branch, that actually understands its role, and that's to be a check on the legislature, which is likely to be controlled by Democrats again, socialist Democrats as it turns out, because Frank Chop is pushing this Kshama Sawant proposal on a statewide basis. I need to make sure that I can stop that, and I can do that as your governor, but I can't do that unless you help me win in August. Josh gives a video. Josh includes a Vimeo video. Not sure which one that one is, but all the Vimeo videos that I've got are exceptional. Really good. I've got a great team that have done an amazing job helping me in my campaign for governor. Lisa Gregory points out he's trying to divide and conquer. Exactly. If we're all fighting against each other, he has the advantage. That's one of the reasons why I choose to focus on Jay Inslee and let the other candidates in this race claw each other's eyes out and leak information on one another and do their Facebook Lives attacking one another because they're all over there doing exactly what Jay Inslee wants them to be doing. And that is to be dividing not only amongst themselves, but their supporters and encouraging their supporters to go after them, and it's just a shoot show over there, and I choose not to participate. I am focused like a laser beam on showing you why I'm going to be the best candidate to take on Jay Inslee, and that's because I'm battle tested, because I have experience in the arena, 22 years fighting for taxpayers, because people know me, They know all the various tax initiatives I've done. They know I've lowered their car tabs. They know all these crap attacks on me about the chair, about campaign reporting and doing my paperwork correctly. Is just silly when you compare it to Jay Inslee and raising taxes $50 billion. Our initiatives saved you $43 billion. Individual people, $10,000, $14,000. Over the last 20 years, everyone has saved dramatically on their taxes because of all my efforts, and that was fighting as a citizen in a broken system. Imagine that same battle-tested warrior actually taking on Jay Inslee and letting Jay Inslee say, what about the chair? What about your $70 haircut? What about your campaign stuff? And I'm just going to simply throw it right back at him and said, Inslee, who are you to challenge a single thing I say when you raise taxes $50 billion when you promised you were going to veto any tax increase? Squandering $5 million running for president. Squandering $1 billion to Nigeria. You are an absolute pathetic individual, Jay Inslee. You have no shame whatsoever. You still want to be, you're still running for president. You think and you're jealous of Joe Biden. You're doing nothing but attacking our president. You're not even acknowledging that you're even in Washington state. You don't even know what's happening in our state. You don't even know that 6 blocks have been taken over by a bunch of lawless anarchists. You're checked out. You're not even going to be in our state if you win this election. I would be on the constant attack because that's way you beat somebody like Jay Inslee. The guys that have run against Jay Inslee in the past all really wanted to be well-liked, well thought of, well respected. They didn't want to look mean. I think we've learned from our president that when he took on Hillary Clinton, wasn't always pretty, but he beat her. And he beat her bad. I've done 17 statewide campaigns. 11 of them were victories. It's hard to win once. What's it like to win 11 times against the entire broken system that we have in the state of Washington? Now, one of the candidates, one of the other guys said, I'm bloviating when I talk about whether or not I've actually reduced people's taxes through the efforts that we made with our initiatives. It's all bloviating. Was asked, Eyman saved people billions of dollars. Why would you be a better candidate? And you go, well, that's mostly just bloviating. Like, really? Car tabs used to be 2.5% of the value of their vehicle under this dishonest valuation system that we still have, that we've repealed 3 times, frankly. But even that, 2.5% is what it used to be. Right now, everyone's yelling and screaming, and we're trying to get it down to 30. It's 1.1% of the value of a vehicle. It's that much lower than it used to be. So did that just happen because Gary Locke suddenly decided one day he wanted to get rid of the 4th largest revenue source in our state government by getting rid of the state motor vehicle excise tax? Really? He just did it on his own? I don't think that's bloviating. I think that's just fact. We did our second initiative on $30 tabs, actually upheld by the Supreme Court. We kept car tabs down for nearly 10 years, and we were fighting every step of the way. I'm going to hearings. I'm doing everything I can to stop them from doing it. But in recent years, it started creeping back up. And so we ended up doing this initiative in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. We got it on the ballot. Voters voted for it. But I'm just bloviating? Really? You have to just kind of wonder, at what point do you look at a candidate and say, what has this person done for me already before they even ran for office? I can talk about the stuff that I provided to the voters of the state of Washington. And I'm the first one to say none of them would have happened without the voters, but it starts with the idea, the entrepreneurial idea that this is something we're going to tackle, this horrible abuse of government power, and we're going to tackle it with this idea. You then take that idea and then you try and convince people that it's a good idea and that they agree with you, and then they donate money toward the idea, and then they get it on the ballot, and then the voters vote on it, and then it becomes a law, and then you fight to defend it. Sounds to me like that's good training to run for governor. That seems like really good training to run for governor. I'm not sure if what the other guys have done qualifies as really good training to run for governor and win the race. I think it's really important for our side to always acknowledge the fact that none of us can govern unless we win the race. I am absolutely laser beam focused on beating Jay Inslee. And so being focused on beating Jay Inslee makes it where I sometimes repeat myself a lot. I highlight many of the places where Inslee has fallen short as our governor. And I point these things out to illustrate to you that the campaign that I'm going to run against Jay Inslee is going to be relentless. It's going to be on constant offense, permanent offense, always on offense. Let them take their shots at me. They've done that for 22 years, and every single shot that they hit me with did not make me weaker. It made me stronger. I want to say that again. There isn't a single time that they have attacked me where it had any impact other than to make me stronger. Think about that. How many times have you basically read an obituary on Tim Eyman is out of the game now? There's no way he's going to recover from this one. This is it for him. I've had that happen 22 years in a row. And every single time the opposition just says, this is the last time. This is it. Sounds like our president, frankly. That sounds like our president. How many times have they taken shots at him and everyone says, this is the one. This is the last one. It's going to be impeachment. It's going to be the emoluments clause. It's going to be the Mueller report. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. Over and over again, all it did was make him stronger. Every attack that they've had on me, and think about how silly they really are. My paperwork in the campaigns that I do. Really? The paperwork? That is what's going to bring me down? Clearly it hasn't. Lawsuit going on for 7 years. Bob Ferguson wants to have a lifetime ban on my future political activity. I'm running for governor. I'm running for governor with an attorney general who said his sole purpose in life seemed to be suing the president all the time and making sure that I can't be politically active in the state of Washington. Failed. Failure. So I'm telling you, I am trained for this. He's trying to divide and conquer. Michael, he sure does want us all fighting. Absolutely true. Corey weighs in. Jay Inslee is out of his freaking mind. Absolutely. I love this pronunciation. Ludmilla. I've seen mesh masks. Wait, what? Inslee says face coverings. Patty is exactly right. Anything goes. I don't know what's that thing. Derek, Patty Gray. Thank you, Patty. So true. Dana says the other thing with the mask is the people seem to put blinders on and not see other people. They don't make eye contact. They don't communicate with each other. So it further isolates people from each other and makes a greater divide. Those are evil people now, not people who just have another point of view. It is so true. When other people are wearing masks, frankly, they're also more rude because you're able to hide your identity while you're doing it. You can be just like, what's his name there earlier? He's some anonymous dude. And so he can be kind of an obnoxious person because no one knows who he is. In the state of Washington, people are very polite to one another, frankly. Most of the time. I'm born and raised Yakima. I went to Wazoo, got my business degree, came over here, lived in Green Lake with Karen. We ended up started to have kids. We moved up to Mukilteo. People are nice in the state of Washington. They just are. They're meaner right now. They're a heck of a lot meaner right now, and they're meaner because they can hide who they are, hide their little obnoxious behaviors because you can't quite tell who they are. Why do you think Antifa wears masks? Because it allows them to be able to do all sorts of things that they would never do if people could see their faces. Patty says, you're welcome. You got kicked off and sent to some strangers page. That's funny. Oh God, that's really funny. All right. So I got people with a great sense of humor in here. Marilyn says, since he has no opposition, won't he still be on the ballot? So, she makes a really good point. In the state of Washington, we have what's called a top two primary. That means that whichever candidates get the most votes, the top two, those are the ones that advance, regardless of party. So that means that Jay Inslee will be one of the people. He's going to get the most number of votes of all the candidates in the race. He just will. Just the Seattle vote alone, the Socialist vote alone is going to go to Inslee. He's going to get the most. Who gets the second most? All the polls show that I'm the second one underneath Inslee. The other guys, not that anybody hates them, it's just that they don't know who they are. And they know that I'm the $30 tabs guy. Now, you can do these, silly, let's go to this page and let's ask everybody on this page who they're for. It's kind of silly because that's not actual, random sample of people. These are people that chose to belong to that group. All the various polls where everybody gets to be able to do it. I mean, think about how small the universe is of Facebook and how many voters are out there that are older that don't do Facebook at all. I mean, think about that. This is a small little universe. It's a great group of people, don't get me wrong, but this primary in August, we're going to have Republicans, Democrats, Independents, all of them voting on who they want to be their governor. A lot of Democrats, a lot of Independents, a lot of Republicans ain't liking Jay Inslee right now. They want to pick somebody else. Who are they going to pick? They want to pick somebody that they already know, that already did something for them. And lowering people's taxes tends to make you reasonably more popular than if you weren't in the arena for the last 22 years. You were doing other things, all fine things, but you didn't actually do anything for the people that are out there. Or maybe you did something, but maybe not, but more than that, you need to do more than that. I also want to make sure that as I'm running for office, that I'm delivering results as well. And one of the candidates criticized me, saying, what are you doing these lawsuits for? They take too long. We filed a lawsuit to open up the schools. They said that they were going to open up schools like in January, or maybe even not at all the way through 2021. We filed our lawsuit. A couple weeks later, they're now talking they're going to have the schools open in the fall. We can't just sit around and just promise, elect me and I'm going to do great stuff for you. I think it's very important to be delivering results now. The other thing, let's just flip through it. And no one got fired, says Michael. Lydia, if only our official would work for the people that hire them instead of the people that bought them. So true. Bill Gates Sr., all the Bill Gates people, they are just puppeteers on Inslee. There's pretty obvious that's going on. Jay Inslee is not working for you and me. He is, I used to say he was Seattle's governor, but now I think Kshama Sawant is basically Seattle's governor now. She's the mayor. Kshama Sawant's the leader of the Democrat Party. They're all socialists now. But I don't think even Jay Inslee is doing well for Seattle people anymore. So there's a lot of voters that are looking for somebody other than Inslee. And I think a lot of those voters are going to be looking at me and saying, hey, he's only like fifth one down on the list of 36 people. I think Inslee's like 33rd or something like that. And they're going to read my voters pamphlet statement. I'm just beating the crap out of Inslee. The other candidates never even mentioned Jay Inslee in their voters pamphlet statement. I think it just shows you that in order to win the race, you actually have to know how the arena works and the rules that happen there. And I know that. Let's see. Patty, we all got kicked out. It's true. The unemployment breach happened right after their update. I said at the beginning it was purposeful. Lisa Gregory says that. Jay Inslee sends $1 billion to Nigeria. It was a big distraction, and it got everyone looking over there and looking over there and forgetting that it was Jay Inslee. If you remember, Jay Inslee had a press conference that day, and he canceled it and sent out Susie, what's her name, in order to be able to take the brunt of it all, talking about hundreds of millions of dollars being lost and taken. She tried to get everybody to be mad at the thieves. Thieves are thieves. You have to be angry at her for allowing them to take the money. So I think it's an important point. Alex, thank you for responding. Inslee must go. So true. Lalani, what would you do about the drug epidemic in Washington State? Step one, drug epidemic, don't make it easier. I think one of the things that is insane is this, free needles facilitating the process. Clearly, that's not working. When you see, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. They're doing more things to make it easier, and yet it's exploding. Homelessness, they're making it easier, so it's exploding. You even see Senator Doug Erickson, who supports my candidacy for governor, was talking about how they keep spending more money for homelessness, yet homelessness keeps going higher. Is it maybe possible that we should be spending less on it, because maybe if we spent less, we'd get less of it? So he wants to actually try something different. I think we should be trying different things because what's currently happening isn't working. Jay Inslee, homelessness, he ignores it. I say we try the Marysville model in Seattle. Let's see if that works. If it doesn't work, let's try something else. I think the reason Jay Inslee doesn't try is that he knows that if he tries and fails, people will criticize him. I've done 22 years of trying, knowing that if I don't succeed, people will criticize me because you didn't succeed. But I tried. By trying, you're more likely to succeed than if you don't try. In fact, it's an absolute truism. If you don't try, you can never succeed. I'm willing to try. I've done it for 22 years of trying, and I believe we've been tremendously successful simply as a private individual, a citizen, going out there, trying to make a difference, having the media against you, having the left against you, having the socialists against you, and still chalking up a shocking number of victories over the years. I'd say that's a pretty good testing ground to find out if you've got the grit and the determination to overcome the swamp that you're going to face in Olympia in November if you're chosen. So I think it's very, very clear the drug epidemic is a very serious problem. I say we tackle it by first not making it easier, but by tackling it in a different way. Jay and Susie misappropriated all the unemployment funds. It is hard not to see it as an inside job. With that much money involved, it's all one big accident. I don't buy that. And it's also hard to get this into my head. I get it if all the money left, $1 billion to Nigeria, but all the single moms and all the poor families got their payments too. You'd at least be able to accept the fact that, okay, they were just in a hurry to get the money out and they weren't careful about it. Why is it they were able to get the money immediately out to the Nigerian princes, but somehow they didn't get the money out to the people that really needed it? And to this day, 9 weeks later, I'm still getting emails from people saying, I qualified, but the system just ate me up and spit me out and put me in this one category, doesn't allow me to be able to get back in. Nobody answers the phones there. Everyone's suffering, and the whole entire system is broken to the point where people who deserve an unemployment check can't even get it because the Nigerian princes took it. It's beyond maddening. Dan asks, why is the state agencies paying and directing furloughed employee to sign up on state time for federal $600 a week relief support when they are only off 1 day a week? Because Jay Inslee is your governor. That's why it's going that way. Jay Inslee takes care of the people that take care of him. That's just the reality. All the essential people, how do you categorize the essential people? Everyone who's in a stock portfolio, Seattle Times reported that. Anybody that supports him, government contractors, give him money, they're essential. You can go through a laundry list of all the people that were in the essential category under Jay Inslee. Of course, they were treated one way. Non-essentials were never people that were on the opposite side of Inslee, or on the same side as Inslee. They were always on the opposite side. So why are the state agencies doing that? Because that's what Jay Inslee wants them to do. If he wanted to stop it, he could. He's not going to. Derek, there's a man in Jay Inslee's family. Dude couldn't rip a wet tissue. Weak. There isn't a man in his family. Jay Inslee is a bully. And that means that he's weak, that he's insecure, and he's not a person that can handle any kind of criticism from anybody. When I saw him starting to cry and whine when Brandy Cruz from Q13 had the temerity to ask follow-up questions when she wouldn't let him say ridiculous things and kept interrupting him periodically, very politely, I might add, he just whined. Oh my God, this guy has just got the thinnest of thin skins, and I've got a dinosaur skin. Seems to me that would be a fantastic fight to have going through November. Tessa is watching. I love hearing that. Michelle, fantastic, is watching. I love you both. Bring them on camera. I will try and do that. Mike Heatley is watching. We're going to try and bring him on and wave there. I'm trying my best to keep up. I hope Pete. What about 976? Mike asks. 976, Initiative 976. This is our $30 tabs initiative. This is the initiative that qualified. It passed. We even got a King County judge to uphold it. But because of Bob Ferguson and the AG sabotaging the case every step of the way, it's still on hold. It was heard by the state Supreme Court, and the AG, Bob Ferguson's team, blew it, did a horrible job, and the one person in that room that was fighting for us, Steve Pigeon, was given 5 minutes. They relegated him to a small period of time, and he tried to clean up the mess that the AG's office made. So we have to vote for $30 tabs one more time by voting for me. All the candidates are in favor of $30 tabs. I actually invented it and created it and worked with people 3 different times to get it qualified for the ballot. I probably did it 7 or 8 times attempting it, but 3 times we succeeded. 3 times the voters voted for it. Voters deserve $30 tabs. Patty says, 2 win in the primary, move on to general. Can it be 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, or 1 of each? Let us just say it. It's going to be Jay Inslee plus somebody else. Jay Inslee plus somebody else. Could be another Democrat. Probably won't be. It's going to be me or a couple of these other guys. That's what it's going to be. Jay Inslee plus one of us. If it's me, you're going to have a battle-tested warrior, somebody who really knows what he's doing, incredibly aggressive, know exactly the campaign I'm going to run. I've been running it for the last 8 months. I'm going to produce results while running. It's going to be nothing but a good thing. It is now 8:22. Shouldn't be putting out the time, but I'm going to go for 8 more minutes. 8 more minutes. So we're just going to keep on going here. If you miss more than 4 hours, you qualify for shared work program, and you'll get the extra $600 too. Wow. What can be done about the homeless issue? As I said, Susan, earlier, very much going to follow the Marysville model that is a very effective approach, and I would tackle it that way, and I would have no problem as governor doing that. And right now, Jay Inslee doesn't do it, among other reasons, that he doesn't want to make Jenny Durkin mad at him. At this point, it's now a matter of making Kshama Sawant mad at him. But I would have no problem being unpopular with the Seattle mayor. I already am. So I think that's an important point. Steve points out, headed to put up more Tim for Gov signs all over 2 counties. We'll be listening. Steve, fantastic. People want signs. Go to tim4gov.com, timforgov.com, and /yard-signs. But I'm asking people to donate. If you donate to this campaign, you're donating to somebody who's going to use that money to convince people that Inslee's bad, we should fire him, and we need to hire somebody that's been fighting for you for 22 years. Showboat Bob can get rid of him. Showboat Bob. Bob Ferguson. Not a good guy. Lori says, kudos. Why isn't there a full-fledged investigation into the unemployment breach? All the information and money missing. I've seen people get fired for $10 short on a register. Candy, we have one party controlling everything. You have them controlling the executive branch, the judicial branch, the legislative branch. 3 branches of government. They control Sound Transit. And it's all about what can we do to make things better for Seattle. Elect me governor, and you will have one branch of government representing everybody else. Right in my voters pamphlet statement, I said Washington has a Washington legislature, Washington Supreme Court, a Washington governor. Enough. Let's have one branch of government representing everybody else. I am relentless against Inslee. I'm going to be a good candidate to take him on, but that's not going to happen in August unless you donate and help me become the candidate to take him on. You are a freaking legend and hero. Michael, aren't you nice? That is very, very nice. I will be honest with you. I was talking with somebody earlier today, and I highlighted this, and maybe nobody will believe it. I'll tell you the truth. The truth is that I have a reputation of having this big swagger, this brimming confidence and stuff like that. The reality is I emphasize more the we and us than I do the I and me. And that is a critical role that I think every activist needs to understand, is that when you're in the arena, you need to understand that you can accomplish nothing alone. You have to build a team of people. For 22 years, I built teams of people. I've got allies in every county. I've got supporters in every county, in every city. I've got people that have helped me be successful over all these years. And I am the first one to say that it starts with the ideas, but none of the ideas become successful unless you build that team. That's exactly what I'm doing in this run for governor. And when I hear people say I'm a legend or I'm great or I'm wonderful, I kind of pull back, because I say, you know what? None of it would have happened if it wasn't for the voters, if it wasn't for the people. And when it comes to card tabs, in fact, I used to go out of my way to say, well, you should thank Gary Locke, because we passed the initiative. And then once the King County judge struck it down, it was Gary Locke that actually held a press conference that day and said, you know, regardless of the court's ruling today, $30 license tabs are here to stay. And within a week, he got rid of the fourth largest revenue source in our state government. That was the car tab tax. We killed that thing. We put a stake in its heart and we destroyed it, killed it with that public vote. But he actually listened to the voters. He could have done what Jay Inslee's doing now and said voters were confused. I don't think Gary Locke was the kind of Democrat that would want to do that. He was actually one of these Democrats that actually respected the fact that the voters had gone in a different direction, and he respected them enough to implement it. Jay Inslee can't bring himself to do that. It's for that reason I don't even call Jay Inslee a Democrat anymore, because he's not acting like one. So I'm going to flip through here. I got 3 more minutes. Chris, we can get rid of him by voting. It's absolutely true. Critical thing is, a lot of people are concerned about voting fraud and them stealing the election. It's why you got to win by a huge margin. $30 tabs was a 53% to 47% victory. The vote in Seattle was like 75% no, 25% yes. Outside of Seattle, it was way past 60% of the vote. In some counties, we were getting near 80% of the vote. That's the kind of vote you have to have for me as governor in order for us to be able to beat Jay Inslee. Not by convincing Seattle voters that I'm great. All I've got to do is convince Seattle voters that he's worth firing. Now that is a very winnable fight, but it's a matter of getting my numbers high throughout the state of Washington. How do I do that? What's something I can do that will get everyone to vote for me? How about me working my butt off for 22 years before I even ran? That tends to build a lot of goodwill. That does a lot of things to help you be able to earn votes from people, not because they saw a campaign sign or a TV ad or even read your voter's pamphlet statement. They know that you saved them $10,000 in their car tabs over the last 20 years. That tends to be memorable. And that's something that I offer that none of the other candidates can possibly offer. On policy, I am very much on the same page with every other candidate. You can't find differentiation on the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, repealing comprehensive sex ed, making sure that we protect our constitutional rights, fighting for our Second Amendment rights, fighting for $30 tabs. The only difference is I've actually delivered on many of those topics already. I'm not just promising it, I'm already showing you that I'm willing to fight for it. Josh says, hero and fearless. I would like to think that the fearless side of it, which was one of our slogans or catchphrases, is that That's the kind of thing you have to be if you think you're going to be a conservative in the state of Washington. If you're going to be a Christian in the state of Washington. If you're going to be somebody that's willing to be fighting for basic family values in the state of Washington, you have to have an absolute dinosaur skin in order to be able to do that, because this is a state that's hostile to that. Good. That which doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And all the attacks that they've had on me have never worked because, one, most of it's made up. It's all just crap. And two, because they've already tried that stuff on me last year, on the chair, on the paperwork for my campaigns. They tried all that last year and it didn't work. All the other candidates are dealing with brand new stuff. Whole lot of new stuff in their lives. They're starting to get a taste of what I've had. The nice part about it is you've known for the last 8 months about all my stuff. You're only now hearing about all the stuff about the other guys, and you know they got more. And so the nice part about it is I am fully vetted. And unlike anybody else in the race, I am absolutely vetted. And it's not that it made me weaker. It made me stronger. It shows the voters know what's important, and whether or not you did your campaign reporting correctly just isn't on their radar screen when Inslee raises taxes $50 billion, takes $5 million running for president, and blows $1 billion on Nigeria. Washington champion, thank you for that. When does Sue Inslee will go into effect? Very important point, I'm a little over time, but we'll just go a little bit longer, is this Sue Inslee effort is a constant thing because we have multiple fights. There's like 4 different lawsuits that we're doing. There's other ones going on at the same time, but we're all seeking the same thing, and that's to get the judges to realize that the Constitution still applies even with Jay Inslee as its governor. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're fighting for. I did it in Seattle yesterday. I did it at the East Precinct, going into the lawless zone, going now into the lawful zone, and talking with the police officers and smelling that fresh paint. I mean, I am in the trenches because that's where I've been for 22 years. And if you elect me governor, if you elect me to be your candidate to take on Jay Inslee, you're just going to get a lot more of that, but even more aggressive than I've been up to now. So anyway, I love you guys. I am so grateful for you listening in. Great event tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, same time. We're going to talk some more about some other topics, but I just really appreciate everybody weighing in. Lots of likes, lots of love. Keep those comments coming. I'll read through those and I'll address a bunch more of those tomorrow night. Again, Sunday, going to be in Yakima at the Yakima Speedway. More on that as time goes on. I'm going to be in Wenatchee in the evening on Sunday. Riley will be with me at both events. That's going to be awesome. I believe I'm in Kitsap County on Saturday, and I believe on Friday, and just doing everything I can to fight for you and to be the absolute most aggressive candidate for governor by far. I make everybody else look like they're standing still in comparison because what I'm doing is delivering results while running, and that's what we need because we can't just wait for November. So I love you guys. You guys are the best. Appreciate all your help, all your love. And I know together we're going to make Washington a better place, not one idea at a time the way we've done for 22 years, but all at once by voting for those same ideas, by voting for me in November. So love you. Take care.